Sup dorks, it's Musashden, and this is a very special video because it's actually an anniversary video. And yeah, I checked the dates and I still cannot believe it. I still can't believe my boy Brice is 10 years old. 10 years! I've never held on to a fan character that long. My original characters, yes, I'll create them and develop them over years and combine them with other characters, but Brice has been his own man since 2009. Yes, I created Brice in 2009, and I have no idea why. Seriously, I'm not sure what lightning bolt I got hit with back then, but apparently I sat down and said to myself, I'm gonna make a crazy pirate boyfriend for Jim Hawkins. Quick segue. Brice is actually a fan character for Treasure Planet, and in case y'all don't know, I'm totally, amazingly, dumb crazy in love with Treasure Planet. People ask why, and I'm like, it's a beautiful movie, Karen. Damn, just accept it. The animation is great, and it seamlessly blends 2D and 3D. And surprise, surprise, it was a Disney movie that wasn't about a damn princess that hates her perfect life. Shut up. Plus, there's Jim. Oh, Jim. How can you not love him? If you don't, you can get the fudge out of here. Jim is great. He's voiced by a literal angel, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and who doesn't love the thought of an emo surfer? That shit is just genius, because that's what Jim is. Like, he's so emo with his haircut and his earrings and his black shirts, and he's a fucking surfer. You don't find emo surfers just anywhere, so yes, I love Jim. Anyway, I already had an OC for Treasure Planet, Andrea Jane, and she was great. People loved her, but like I said, I got hit with a lightning bolt that day because I sat down and began writing a what if. Like, what if Jim did become a pirate at the end of the movie? Like, what would be the catalyst? And the answer was this blonde psycho right here, and thus Brice was born. Honestly, I had tried back in 2002 when the movie first came out to make Jim a boyfriend, but it was terrible. Huge shock. I made some red-haired jerk with an Asian name, but somehow related to Captain Flint, and he had a third eye. Yeah, that first draft went off the rails real fast, and blah, blah, blah. It's terrible and abusive writing, and I'm glad it never saw the light of day, and it's rotting away on my external drive, where nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever read it. Like, not even me. I'm not even going back to look at it because I know it's disgusting. So, luckily in 2009, I gave it another try and ended up creating my most popular fan OC ever. Like, he's more popular than Tack, who's been around for longer, I feel like. But he's had fan art done of him. I've had people ask if they could write him in a story. I've never seen those stories. I don't think they ever, came about. But there's been fan art of my fan character. That never happens. That doesn't happen with my original characters. So to get fan art of my fan character, I was floored when these people loved Brice so much to draw him. Like, okay, great. Like, I literally screamed about it back then, but I was like, yes, draw him. Like, I won't stop you. Okay, so his full name is Bryson Ray Messier. Messier is pronounced like that because the film is based, there's a lot of French names in the film, so it's Messier, not Messier. You don't pronounce R. Messier. Bryson Ray Messier. And he is the latest in a long line of pirates to captain the Atlas, a pirate ship that Jim finds himself aboard after being shanghaied. I made him like 3 or 5 years older than Jim, but I did their relationship a little bit different. Normally, I write the canon character noticing something special about my plot device. I mean, fan character. And they spend time together and they fall in love and sunrise, sunset, blah, blah, blah. But in Atlas, it's Brice who is starstruck with Jim. When they first meet, he can hardly believe that he is standing across from the famous Jim Hawkins, the man that found Flint's trove and made captain at 21 years old. So he falls for Jim first and spends like 6 chapters trying to woo him and convince him to stay and be a pirate with him. And Brice is not subtle about his attraction or how he wants Jim to stay with him. He's like, stay with me, we'll have fun. Like, don't go back to your life. Your life sucked before you met me. Like, just stay. Alright, Jesus. Slap that on Netflix and it's a hit. Unfortunately, Jim belongs to Disney and they'd sooner burn down their parks than let Jim be gay. So, yeah. If you want to read their epic love story, there's a link to it in the description below. Okay, so inspiration for Brice came in some rather obvious forms. Like, it should be obvious. I grew up on 90s Cartoon Network, and there was a show called Pirates of Darkwater, and the resemblance between Ren and Brice is very obvious. In fact, Ren might be the reason I love dark skin and light hair and light eyes on characters so much and why I use it on so many characters, but they look like they could be related. Also, Sinbad Tales of the Seven Seas or whatever one, the DreamWorks one, was my inspiration for the crew of the Atlas, particularly my character, Ren from the story, who is a very large felinoid, like the alien race that Captain Amelia is. And he's a very large felinoid who is Brice's first mate and his caregiver. Hell, I even have like a set of twins, and Jim takes the place of Marina as the fish out of water character amongst the crew from Seven Seas. But that's the only similarities that they really have. I said it before and I'll say it again, but when creating a Disney character or Disney OC, I use a color palette of an existing Disney character to like kind of make people be like, oh yeah, he totally fits in the Disney aesthetic. And I chose Scar for Brice, which is why Brice almost ended up being a redhead again, but I decided on blonde all those years ago to make him look innocent when he's actually extremely dangerous. Like, he's super dangerous. Like, don't cross him. He's nuts. I even gave Brice a scar to show that he's been through some serious fights in his life, and he survived those fights. So don't let the blonde hair and the big green eyes fool you, or like the fact that he's like this close to being a twink. Like, if he was less muscular, he'd be like a total twink, but I made him muscular to be like, okay, he can't be a twink. Like, nobody's gonna believe that this badass pirate is a fucking twink. Like, let's not go there. I think I also made him just an inch or two shorter than the adult version of Jim that I aged up for the fanfic. So I think I made Jim about maybe 6'1", 6'2" when he gets older, and so that makes Brice about 6 feet tall, which means that all the other aliens on his ship have got to be pushing like 7 feet tall, because they're all head and shoulders taller than Brice at times. And he's not muscular, but he's no weight. Like, I think I also made Jim more muscular in his grown-up form than Brice. Like, Brice is not a pushover, but Jim is more muscular because of the whole mechanic and gym plans and surfer, and he's like an athlete. So I made Brice just slightly shorter and slightly thinner. Brice is the closest I'll ever come to creating a Disney prince type. Like, let's be real, Disney would never allow my pierced up, pot-smoking, bisexual pirate to join their ranks. But a girl can dream. The thing I found most interesting about what people like about Brice's story is how far it goes off the rails at times. Like, a lot of people always wanted a sequel to Treasure Planet, and when I say a lot, I mean like the 10 fans that it had before they started showing it on Toon Disney, and it had a resurgence in popularity about, I want to say that was like 6 years ago when people started shipping him with Ariel for whatever the fuck reason. But yeah, people liked my story because it was like a what if to his future. Like, yeah, he became Starfleet captain, but he wasn't happy in that life, so he ends up going on this pirate adventure anyway. And Brice is just such a weird character. Like, he has like these weird quirks that I gave him. Just randomly, like the thing with his towels and his bed sheets. Like, he's real particular about them, and I'm just like, y'all are buying this? Like, why? But he has such enduring qualities, and I think that's why people love my Bryson so much, because he's just such a freaking weirdo. And then at the same time, he's such a weirdo. He could be like super heartless, like just merciless at times, but then he'll turn around and be like the sweetest guy, to his crew and to his children, and he's just super loyal to Jim. So he's a very fleshed out fan OC, and I think that's why a lot of people liked him, because he doesn't just have one side he's good, one side he's bad. Like, he's a very gray area character, and I think that's why people love him, because I don't even want to say he's a villain, because he's not. He doesn't go around doing villainous shit for the sake of it, and he's not like a goody like, you know, good characters are. So, like, it's worth the read. Like, it really is. Like, it's 28 chapters, but a lot of people, like, I've had people say they've read it in like one night because they just couldn't stop reading it, and I was just like, okay, if you say so. But yeah, his story is worth the read. Please check it out. And here's the finished product of Brice's new character sheet. You can see the full res on my DeviantArt gallery as always, and read his fanfic Atlas on fanfiction.net. I can hardly believe that he is 10 already. It feels like I just created him yesterday. Look at my baby boy. Aww. That's it for this week's video. If you like my content, please subscribe and hit the like button, and you can see more of my content pretty much anywhere, because I'm Musashden, here, there, and everywhere. Thanks for watching!